Hi and welcome back to
Always a Girls' Night.
Happy New Year!
Yeah.
Finally, the year that we've been dying for after this dreadful year. Dreadful long year.
Literally.
Even though we've learned quite a bit,
I mean,
I think this is like the longest year.
It's
like
a nice
it felt
reset.
so long.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we've been in
time.
like 2 years.
Literally.
Like it doesn't even feel like one. It feels like two.
It was so long. I really hope this year is gonna be better for everyone.
Yeah, I hope so.
That was a harsh year.
Yeah,
Me too.
gotta stay positive though. Gotta stay positive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I want to be realistic. I don't think COVID, unfortunately, is gonna leave quicker than we anticipated.
Exactly.
But I think it'll stay with us for a little bit longer, sadly. But I feel like I'm going on to like da-da, da-da. That's like where my speech is going to. Like there's a
It's such an anticipation.
vibe. I'm scaring myself. I'm like, oh my god, what's coming next? Oh my god, earthquake? What? Oh, what's going on next? Whew. Anywho, not to scare you any further. I just don't think that it's gonna leave anytime soon.
We all know that.
But it just sucks. Like everyone was thinking that
It was gonna last a few months.
yeah, like they were like this summer everyone was like, oh, it's gonna be done.
Oh.
Hopefully by Christmas. We're in Christmas right now, it's still here. Well, New Year's.
In New Year's.
So
A couple of days later.
yeah. So I mean, who knows when this thing's leaving?
Oh well. On that note, we are drinking today. Wait, what?
What was it called?
Mary Blizzard. It's a blue curacao. Cheers.
Blue corazón. Cheers. Very yummy. Oh, you took 2 sips?
It's too yummy.
Wow, it's
I
too
take
yummy.
2 sips.
Guys, you want to hear a funny thing? I told her to take 3 sips before because I was way ahead of her. I finished my glass and she still had half. She's like, Kim, I'm tipsy. Now all of a sudden she's Miss Big Shot taking 2 sips. I don't know who I'm dealing with.
She's always ahead of me though. You're always ahead of me. I don't know, lately I can't drink. Oh, I was gonna say water.
But I've always been actually no. You
before
were.
I used to want to drink all the time.
It's because you were dying to get wasted. I remember you're like, I can't wait to get wasted, and you would just drink, and then you're like, Kim, I'm wasted.
By the end of the
night
when we would go clubbing, I wanted to get shots.
Yeah.
It was 3 a.m. I'm like, let's get shots. She was like, are you crazy? We're leaving.
Yeah. She was, how do you say it? Not money hungry, but alcohol hungry. Alcohol hungry. Starving for it.
I actually was.
I was more of, because to tell you the truth, I was more of the mom when we went out. So I was trying to think. I was like, okay, if I'm dying out here, how's this one gonna do? I don't think, we'll survive. So, I mean, I try to pace myself debatable. In the sense. Yes, it is. Because they're so nice to take care of me. Anyways. But the whole point is we took care of one another. No matter what. Yeah. And, we kind of, knew. When I knew she was, more drunk than I was, I knew I had to take the upper hand. Same for her. Wow, my God. Same for her. So, I mean, it was kind of a give or take. But at the same time, I always felt I was always scared on getting home. And I'm always like that till this day. And she knows that.
Sober, drunk.
No matter what. It's just, I don't know. For me, it's I've always worried about other people getting home. I'm the same thing for myself. So, it's just, I stress a lot about that. I mean, like, there's a lot of things that can happen getting home. So for me, that's really important.
You're right.
Very.
Just be safe out there.
Yeah,
There's
very
crazy
safe.
people.
Oh,
Cheers
yes.
on that.
Cheers. Wow. Oh, such a shitty cheers.
Ça fait...
Yeah, but not a...
Why is it
plastic,
doing that?
isn't this thing? Sounds like plastic. Is it plastic or is it glass?
It's fucking glass. I swear I broke some. Today we are talking about what we have learned in 2020. And everyone has learned a lot this year. It's crazy.
I think it was hard, to say the least. Like, it was really hard to pick just a couple.
It was.
But I feel like the ones that we picked to talk to you about today was, like, the ones that stood out the most. Mm-hmm. But just, like, on a brief note, like, we wanted you guys to know that, like, we learned a lot about this year. Like, we were discussing about this earlier, and we were actually pretty impressed with ourselves. Like, the fact that, like, this year was so shitty, but yet we learned so much out of it.
I feel like you learn the most in harder situations.
Yeah.
And this year was just hard for everyone.
Yeah.
No matter what
definitely.
situation you were in, I can't believe it wasn't hard for you.
Yeah.
It's such
and if you're saying that it wasn't hard, you're lying to yourself.
You're lying to yourself. It's such a situation that never happened to anyone. Mm-hmm. And it never happened in this century, let's say.
No.
So
I mean, I was actually talking about it with my dad, and you remember, like, with Ebola?
Yeah.
Like, it happened, like, very, very briefly, like, barely anything. I remember going into school.
I remember that.
And, like, everyone was making jokes and, like, saying how, like, something can happen, this and that.
Who would have thought it was gonna actually happen later on with something else?
know. But low-key, I always thought it would happen. Like,
really?
Yes. Because, like, it's only normal in the sense, like, it's like there was the Spanish flu, there was all sorts of that. Like, how do you say, diseases, sicknesses that came about that kind of, like, stirred up the grounds a little bit.
To me, I never thought it would have happened, because in that time, technology and, like, science wasn't as advanced as it is now. Yeah. So I would have never thought but a disease
is more advanced than our technology.
I know that. But I never it's like a life form, you know? To think about that. Like, ever.
Point taken. I feel like this has made you, well, maybe not you, but I just mean made a lot of people just think about that. I was thinking about that in the car earlier. I was with my dad, and I was just like I was looking at a whole bunch of people standing at a bus stop with a whole bunch of masks. And to me, like, it just brought the idea, because, like, every time I passed by that street, I was so used to going to school, and, like, there was always a whole bunch of people at bus stops and, like, close to the metro. Like, there was never anybody with masks. And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, it's so different. Like, you don't even see these people's faces. And I feel like it's taking so much from, like, one another. Like, I work in retail, and, like, that to me, like, was the most important part, because, like, I find, like, reading people's nonverbals. Okay, I'll keep up with you.
This is fucking good.
Can I make another glass after this? Please, come on. You're not working tomorrow. Sure. I'm not working tomorrow.
Look at my glass, bro. Tu veux comment je bois?
I love it. Okay, don't yak.
I have to say something.
I don't even know what I was
done? No, it's still
joking. You'll probably have to take that part out.
When that happens dans les podcasts, quand genre on arrête la conversation and we go somewhere else, je suis comme, what the fuck do I do? I'm always like, fuck.
Intermission. Got distracted. I think you should put that.
I got distracted. Let's move on.
We got distracted. Because that's so us. We always, like, we talk about a topic. Oh my God. And then we kind of just and it goes something else.
Wait. This is a new segment. I don't care. This is a new segment. It's gonna be called "We Got Distracted."
Yeah.
Let us explain a little bit. Every time we record an episode and we're talking about something and we're actually deep in a conversation, sometimes we get distracted by something, or like we start talking about something else outside the podcast, and then it just doesn't make sense anymore.
And then forget what we're saying.
And then when we're like editing the episode, it's like so hard for us to make a fucking connection to the first freaking sentence and the other one. So we're gonna be calling this "We Got Distracted." So every time this pops up, you guys know we just got distracted.
So like that, you don't miss out on anything, like little things that we've said, but we didn't conclude it.
We got distracted. But I had to say something before we got distracted. It's so funny.
I love that it's our own voices though. Sorry, there's our distraction. I think it's mainly me because I'm pretty sure I have ADHD.
I feel like now, thinking about it, since we've been in this for so long, now it feels normal.
Yeah.
Back then I was fucking scared. I was scared out of my life. I didn't even want to take a walk.
I know. I remember we were discussing maybe seeing each other, and like you were like, no.
We never did.
No.
Like
we didn't see each other for a long time in the beginning of COVID. Long time. It was only until the summer, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until they said we could see like like one person or two, we never did.
Yeah. No, we only did the summer. COVID has really like fucked up how you think. Like
it changed your train of thoughts.
Yes.
A
lot. I think about so much more details that I've never thought about. Like for example, like a small example, and I thought about this the other day. I used to put I had a Longchamp, a bag. I used to put it on the floor in the metro, in the bus.
I know.
And then when I used to get home,
your bed.
I used to put it on my couch.
I know.
I used to put it on my couch. That. Sometimes, like in the winter, when I had my jacket,
you would throw it on your bed, or on your couch.
Or sometimes I was so tired. Some days I would get home from taking the metro, or whatever, and before taking my shower or whatever I had to do, I would just sit on my couch in my jacket after sitting like super long in like the bus and metro.
I know.
And now I think about it, it's like I would never do that.
I've been thinking about it too.
I would never do that now. As soon as I get home, I take off my jacket. I make sure everything's nice and clean. Like I don't put any clothes that I've been outside on any of my clean things. Like,
you know what? I've thought about the same thing. Sometimes I have stuff in my jacket pockets and I'm like, fuck, like I have to go. And then I go and take the thing and I wash my hands after, which is something I would have never done before.
Or like when I bought new things, I always made sure I'm like, even before COVID, I used to always wash my clothes. But
now
products and stuff like that, I would never clean them. Now I sanitize every single thing I purchase.
I do groceries with my boyfriend, and I told him like we need to sanitize it just in case. We're that kind of people.
Us too. So
we really are.
Don't even like. I find personally it's more for your
mental
exactly
states.
Because then after I touched this, I did that, I don't know about this, I don't know who touched that. I'm sorry, like, we need to stress less. Because all this paranoia
is already stressing us out.
Exactly. That's another thing why I think, like, resolutions this year, and I'm going to be quite honest with you guys, are very, very important.
Yeah.
And, okay, so I read this book, and I actually learned a lot about it. On a brief note, I didn't finish it. But in the first few chapters, I never finished it because he had a lot of good things to say, but like I need more interest to finish a book. Anyways, but what he said in his first couple of chapters was very interesting. When you want to accomplish something especially a New Year's resolution. The reason why a lot of people fail is because they don't take initiative on confirming that they want to. They say, I'm going to, but it's, I am going to do this. Instead of,
I want to do
exactly. Because when you say, I want, it gives like that brief space of being like,
it's an option.
Exactly.
It's you want to do it or you...
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not confirming to yourself
that you're good
that you're fully ready to do it.
Yeah.
You're just saying, I want to, but you're not
preparing
fully
yourself.
Committed to it.
Exactly.
But by saying, I am going to do this, it's you're confirming to yourself, I'm going to do this.
And this is why I see a lot of people saying how they never have New Year's resolutions because they never
accomplish it. They're always like, it's gonna fail anyways, it's gonna fail, it's gonna fail.
Exactly, it's because you never really like manifest it into your life.
Because you're automatically thinking you're gonna fail, so obviously you're manifesting that you're gonna fail. So what do you think's gonna happen? You're gonna fail. You keep confirming to yourself that it's gonna fail, so
it's gonna fail.
Exactly.
I could want to work out every day, but am I gonna do it? You know? Mm-hmm. Did I wake up this morning and be like, this year I will work out every day? Or did I say, I want to work out every day?
Exactly.
There's a big difference over here.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, this is
huge.
Such a good, like, acknowledgement. Wow. This is gonna help me.
Oh, I thought I've told you this before, though.
No, you never did. Which book was that?
Unfuck Yourself.
Yo, I have this right
really?
Here. No.
No. Because I remember you've seen it at my house before. You used to always look at it and you were like, oh, you're reading this? And I was like, I have a hard time reading it.
It's 100 simple things to make your life better or whatever.
Oh, yeah. We should do a trade.
We really should.
We should. Because I'm having, like, it's just too much information, like, jam-packed. Like, there's no...
The entire book is just, like... bullet points.
Yes. Yeah. And I have even bullet point. Even bullet point. I said it twice.
It sounded like a fucking jammed radio.
Oh my god. I can't even...
We got distracted.
Mine is not bullet point at all. It's really like, it's a book.
Okay.
But it's
chapters though.
Yes.
But same thing, that's what I meant. Like every chapter is a different like subject.
Okay.
Like a bullet point. You know
okay. Then I have that, but it's just like the flow of it, it's too how do you say?
It cuts every chapter. It's not like a flow.
No, there is a bit of a flow, but it's very like the author is very direct.
Okay.
You have to do this, you have to do like that. If you do like this, it's not right. It's like, so for me, it's like, I feel like I'm in command.
Yeah, you need to
like, I'm reading it, I'm like,
fuck.
Oh, you're scaring me a little bit. Okay, I have to do this. I can't do that. And he was like, he's straightforward in his book, but it's just like, in that book, I have a hard time finishing
I understand.
it. But I've like done a couple of chapters. It's just like, for me personally, and you guys can judge me on this all you want, but I have such a hard time finishing a book.
Yeah. Like,
finishing it, and I think that might be another goal of mine.
To finish books.
Yeah.
Me too, actually.
Because I finished so many books, like, for school, but I never finished books on my own terms.
I start books, and then I always want to read other books.
Yes.
So I start, like, 3 books at the same time, and I'm like, holy shit, like, where am I supposed to go? And I just end up leaving them there because I get too overwhelmed.
See, my problem is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, the first couple days, first couple weeks.
Wow, that's a good goal. Let's write it down. Anyway, so this brings us to our topic today. We are talking about what we have learned in 2020.
Yeah.
It's actually very, I don't know. It's a good way to end the year. I feel like 2020 is the one year that I have learned the most about myself.
I agree.
Because you had to
ourselves.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the biggest thing. Because
you were stuck with yourself for so long. Like in quarantine, I had to be with myself. Like obviously, I was living with someone, but it's still like that time where you can't go out. You can't take your mind off things. You're always at home. You're always dealing with your stuff at home. Like for me personally, I remember whenever I was feeling down or whenever I was having like a bad day, I knew I had a dance practice at night. Yeah. So I knew at night I was gonna be able to dance and to work out at the same time, to move my body, to get a little bit healthier and to do what I love the most, you know? Yeah. But when I was at home, I couldn't do that. I had to stay in my house. I had to do stuff in my house, and I feel like the environment that you experience stuff makes the experience different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I meant.
I get what you're saying. Like, I learned this. Well, not necessarily the same thing because everyone's different, but I mean, in the same context, like, to me in the beginning, I had such a hard time. I had such a hard time because for me, life in general, just always being at school, at work, just being out, it was my way of distracting myself from my personal problems. So in the beginning of quarantine, like, I could not sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was having not nightmares, but I had really bad insomnia, and like I just couldn't fall asleep. I was crying. Like, it was just really, really bad. It was like where I finally faced a lot of like my demons, you could say, like mentally. And like I feel that's another thing that 2020 has made me learn, is that your demons are who they make you. Yeah. They're you. And like if you don't embrace them, they just become your enemy.
Exactly. You need to work on them.
Exactly. It's just you have to, and it's a constant muscle. You just have to keep on working on it.
You're always going to have demons. And it's not in a negative way. It's actually very positive because when you think about it, demons are what
makes you appreciate the positive.
Exactly. But also, like, it's something you need to work on yourself. And if you're minded to actually change something about yourself that you don't like. For example, I don't know, you're very impatient, an impatient person. Well, if you work on it, you're slowly going to become patient if you want to work on it.
Yeah.
And 2020 was the year where you could work on your demons, let me tell you. Yeah.
And it's just, I feel like we could say it for us both. It's just we learned a lot about ourselves. And I feel like we've learned a lot about like our relationship as well. Like, we've had a couple breakdowns. Not breakdowns, but
breakdowns.
A bit of breakdowns, like where we kind of just like sat each other down and like we were telling each other how we felt about certain situations. Yeah. And I feel like we've never really had that in the past. But it helped us like realize that it's okay to have disagreements with other people, even if you really love them. It's just it makes the relationship even better.
But it's normal. You're your own person.
Yeah, you know? But that's what I'm saying. It made our relationship better because like I understood where you came from, you understood where I came from, but without having that talk, that sit down, like facing the problem, we wouldn't have been able to understand each other.
I love you.
Oh, I love you too. So much. Aww. But like that's why like I feel like this year, it's just like not only for myself, but I feel like from what we've spoken about as well, like it's just helped us face a lot of problems head on instead of
putting them aside.
Exactly. Like I feel like before you used to put it aside with dance, me was just school reality. Like, I just...
The more productive you get, the less time you have to worry about your insecurities or whatever problems, negative thoughts you have. So
like this is the one, because like I've always known that I've tossed my problems aside, but this has really confirmed me that like you can't run away from them. You can't. They're always there, and if you run away from them, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Did you realize when you went to bed before COVID, that's when you were thinking about your problems?
Yeah.
Because you weren't...
And have no distractions.
You had no distractions.
I had nothing else to think about. And that's why in the beginning of COVID, like the first couple of weeks, I did not sleep properly. I cried so much. Like, I just couldn't... I didn't feel like myself for a while. And then that's when it woke me up and I was like, I can't do this. I have to change my ways. Like, this is not working. Like, I can't just distract myself from my problems. Like, I remember, like, the first day I really, like, woke up, and I was like, I'm gonna face this. Was, I changed my room. I changed my room completely. And that was such a relief to me, because I made my room into a space that was not functional, but like cozy, like my room,
peaceful.
Exactly. Like, as we continue, I'm trying to make my space more and more my space and somewhere I want to be. As in before, like I never really decorated or made it look how I wanted to. I kind of just made it functional because I was barely home. So I was like, I needed to function in a sense where, like, it's here, but I don't need it. You know what I mean? But, like, now it's, like, exactly. I need it to be functional for school, for work, for personal, for everything. Like, a lot happens in our rooms now. Like, I hate to break it to you, but it's so true, and it's so sad.
So what's the first thing you learned in 2020?
Well, the first thing I learned in 2020, well, they kind of overlap a little bit, but the biggest thing is being grateful for what you have around you. And like I said before, it kind of touches upon it a bit. It's not looking at your problems as problems, but as situations that can be solved. So instead of looking at it negatively, and like I used to do that all the time before, whenever I didn't want to do something, I was just like, oh, like I'm so not down, like I don't want to do this, and I was like ungrateful for that task. Now, like, I kind of try to look at everything more positively and be a bit more grateful for what's given in front of me instead of negatively. Like, to look at who I've embraced myself in my family, my surroundings, and like who I've chosen to be in my life. And to be honest, it's a decision that I'm very grateful for. And another thing is just where I've come mentally. I feel like I've had a lot of struggles with like my body image and my mental health, my self-esteem. And like when I think about myself, how I was in high school and now, I'm so proud of myself. And I want to say that to you guys. Take acknowledgement of your successes, of everything you've come up to until now.
That's so important.
It really is, because not gonna lie, I never really thought about it until like months ago.
Really?
Like, I was always so negative towards myself. Like, high school was such a bad period of my life. Like, I was so negative towards myself, my body, everything. And now it's like, I look back at all that I've accomplished, not only like academically, but in life itself, and I'm so grateful. And And I think that's the biggest thing that 2020 has taught me is just to be grateful for where you've come, what you've learned. Because even though we make mistakes, like mistakes will never leave, demons will never leave, but how you face them is the most important part. So what are lessons you've learned in 2020?
For me, one of the biggest things I have learned, and I'm not saying I have fully accomplished it, like I'm still working on it, is to not stress over things you cannot control.
Yeah.
And that, especially in this pandemic, like, you cannot, like, obviously it's a stressful situation because you never know what can happen, but you cannot make yourself sick about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a limit where your stress can go. And if you can't control a situation, just stop thinking about all the possibilities that could happen.
Yeah.
Because it's probably never going to happen. Like, it's what you think is going to happen. And you're always thinking about the worst thing, right?
Yeah.
So if you just let it be, just try and think about positive things, which is like manifestation, I feel like it's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know? And well, I think manifestation is a bit better word for it. Manifestation this year was so helpful for me. And I don't know, like, for example, I manifested I was supposed to go on a dance tour. Okay, I was with my crew. We were supposed to be on tour right now, and we worked so hard for it. Like 2019, we worked our asses off, like until midnight. I would come home. It was 1 a.m. I would take the bus home. 1 a.m. Super sketchy, but whatever. I just did not care. I was so about it. Like, I really wanted it to happen. And because of COVID, it didn't happen. And I got so heartbroken. Like, I was so sad. I cried. Like, I was so sad because it's like, it's such a big accomplishment. It was.
I was so excited to go see you.
Yeah, she even bought a freaking ticket. Which is postponed, don't worry.
But no, I know. But I'm just saying, it's just like, I was really looking forward to it.
I was looking forward to it. Like, I was picturing myself, like, in the beginning of the show, all my family there screaming for me. Like, I would have been
I
so
would have blown my lungs out screaming for you.
But when it happened, like, obviously I was sad in the moment, but then afterwards I was like, you know what? I can't control the situation. Yeah. I can't make it happen. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, it's just it.
I agree.
So
you just brought up a good point. I was going to say, like,
everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, like, this has always been a quote that I've stuck by for, like, a long time. But I feel like this year,
it's the biggest year that...
And, like, I've noticed so many, like, little things where I'm like...
Everything happens for a reason.
Exactly.
I know.
Like, the universe pays you back for the negative that happens to you and positive,
but only if you take it the right way.
Yes.
You know, like,
but that's what I'm saying. Everything, if you look at it in the positive way,
it's like, gonna come back positive.
Exactly. If you're like, everything happens for a reason, don't stress about it, it's for a reason. Like, for example, like, if you don't get the job you want or the school you want, it's because it happened for a reason.
Yeah, something else is about to come for you.
Exactly. Like, I heard this story, and it was this girl, she couldn't plant a flower. Okay? And, like, there was this other person that planted this big, beautiful flower, and she couldn't plant it. And she was freaking out. She was like, why me? Why me? Freaking out. And then a couple days later... And this other person, remind you, is gloating because their flower is big and beautiful. and it bloomed and not the other person. So she's like, oh my God, look at my flower. Next thing you know, the person that didn't have their flower that bloomed, hers 3 days later bloomed even bigger and more beautiful. So, like, to me, it's a little, like, story. It's not, like, a realistic story, but it just symbolizes how, with patience and knowing that everything happens for a specific reason, it'll happen. So, besides what we learned from 2020, we're going to share with you a couple of our goals moving forward into 2021. Because today's the day where we start a brand new year. Mm-hmm. And we really want to start it off right. And we've discussed on how we're going to do a vision board. We're really going to keep each other accountable on our goals, because this is a big thing for me and me. A big thing. Like, because we know how important, we know how important our goals are to one another. So it's also important for us to keep each other accountable, because sometimes we can get distracted and it's hard to stay focused on our own goals. But having somebody by your side, it'll be a little bit easier. And so that's exactly what we're going to be doing.
I'm excited.
So what's your goals for 2021?
I have a couple of them. I don't think I'll mention them all. I'll probably forget some of them. But the main ones are, first of all, I've grown a passion for fashion. That's kind of funny to say. Passion for fashion.
It's a nice ring to it.
I know. Yeah, I would like to push my fashion side a little bit more. Like, I'd like to learn about some stuff more, like fabrics, or how to design clothes. Because one day, I'm not saying in 2021, because I know it takes so much time to do that, but have my own fashion brand, that's like my main goal. I'm gonna help. That would be my main goal. But yeah, so I just want to start and learn more about it. I also, regarding fashion or just anything else in general, I want to be more productive.
Yeah. Like,
towards my personal projects, or if ever, like, I have to work for someone, like, if someone asks me to do a project with them, like, if someone asks me to do a project with them, I want to be more, not open, but, like, more productive. Like, if there's a due date, like, I'm in time, I'm ready
more responsible in a
exactly sense. Because, I mean, it's easy right now to get a little lazy. You're always home, so you're like, oh, my couch, oh, my bed, food. That's me.
Literally. Or just ordering, chilling.
Second to last, I would like to take care more of my mental health and stay consistent with it, because I've acknowledged it in 2020 that it's very important to take care of your mental health, just in general, for everything. It just helps you in your daily life. It just helps you with everything, and I want to be more consistent with it. For example, journaling.
Sorry.
Journaling, eating more healthy, just a bunch of things like that. And lastly, I would like to take more time for my loved ones, such as my family. Like, I'd love to call my grandmas at least once a week. You know, I think it's important, because they're your grandmas, they're your little vovos. Like, you need to call them. They're sitting there waiting for you to call them for like 10 minutes. What is that gonna do for you? 10 minutes, you called your grandma, you called your dad, your mom, you spend like a little bit of time with your friend. I mean, COVID safe, obviously, like FaceTime them. But yeah, I want to prioritize family and friends.
I agree.
Yeah. What about you? What are your goals?
For me, it's somewhat similar, but journaling is the first thing on my list, because like I've always wanted to get into journaling, but like I've always been, how do you say, like not consistent with it at all. Like I've tried it on my own and I do it, like I've noticed like every time I went through my journal, it was like when it was like I was super pissed or like I was going through like a tough patch, but like it was never like just out of joy. Yeah. Like it was never like, oh, let me just like write this.
I'm grateful.
I tried it once. And then like I was like, yeah, I'll do it every day. Never did it. So that's why like my goal for this year is really to just continue that every day. And another thing is meditation. Like I've grown to really enjoy meditation, but I'm not consistent with it. And I've noticed like when I first started enjoying it, I did it a bit more frequent, and I noticed that it helped me a bit more mentally. So I want to get back into that, but more frequently every day. Like in the morning, nothing like super, super long, like at least like 5-minute meditations throughout the day. Nothing like long, because like I have a hard time staying in place for more than 5 minutes. But 5 minutes is perfect, like spread out during the day. And working out. I love working out, but sometimes I get a little bit distracted from it. Like recently, we got a bit distracted because of the holidays. I had my exams end of semester, so it was a lot. And I feel like those are the times that we need to prioritize it a bit more. And so that's why for my goal in 2021 is to just put myself first, even though like I have exams, a lot of things coming up, to just put myself first and like make sure I'm okay and I'm not like deteriorating myself for an exam, you know? Mm-hmm. Another thing is like staying healthy. I did this in the beginning of quarantine. I was like really focused on what I was putting into my body and like keeping it super like healthy. And then like obviously the holidays came along and I got a little bit distracted. But going into 2021, like I just want to feel healthier, feel more positive on what I'm putting into my system, knowing that like I'm putting good foods, energizing my body, putting my body and my mental health first mostly. That's like the biggest takeaway from my goals so far. But another thing is, if you know me more personally, you'll know this, but I'm a really bad texter, okay? Really, really bad.
Holy shit.
I'm really bad.
No, wait. There's bad, and there's Kim under it.
Okay, you know what? Don't even make me feel that bad.
No, but it's good, because, like, you acknowledged it. But Kim texting
really bad.
Is, like, she's gonna see your message, and in her head, she'll be like, oh, I saw the message, and I'll remember that I have to text her back.
Well, it's just because
but she never does.
I know. It's because, like, I'm just like, oh, I'll answer. Because most of the time when I read it, I'm busy doing something. And that's my problem. I read it at bad timings.
Exactly.
So
you open the message. That's a problem,
yes,
I think.
That is. But sometimes I leave it on my screen. And then, like, I'm like, okay, I'll answer it later. Comes to later, I either fall asleep or I forget. It's just, like, honestly, like, I'm, like, if you know me, I'm a phenomenal person. I love more in-person interactions.
Well, that's really good, though. Like,
yeah, but it's just like, it sucks.
Thing.
I agree, but in our society, it sucks for me because it's like, our society is like now, especially with COVID, it's mostly like texting and like FaceTime and
but
stuff
actually,
like that.
I think it's more other people who are affected by it. But honestly, I think for you it's healthy because you're not like on your phone. You're like, honestly, I have to admit, she's such a bad texter. Holy shit! But it just proves. Oh my god! It just proves that like, you're actually living in the moment. Like, you see the message and you're not like, oh, I have to answer it now. Yeah. Like, I'll do whatever task I have to do right now and I'll answer it after.
1 second.
So
you're encouraging my bad texting. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I kind of.
This is gonna be my next excuse.
I'm living in the moment.
In the moment.
Yay!
It's on me now. Oh fuck! I just got my. So it's more towards my loved ones. Okay, it's just because like
me especially,
bro. Yeah. Also my mom. My poor mom. She's always just like, I feel bad. I think like I hurt her the most.
The fuck?
It's just like it. Well,
if I don't answer my mom, she's like, hello?
See, my mom's more lenient, you know? But at the same time, it's just like, I personally feel bad because, like, I know, like, I'm just shit at texting. Like, it's just like, it's not to the point where 2 people have told me. It's like
everyone.
Multiple people. And it's like all people that I'm close to because they're like, I don't see you in 3 weeks and I don't get 1 text.
I'm pretty sure.
But at the same time, other people can send me messages too. Sometimes, I'm going to tell you the truth about that because recently, I've been working on it.
I know you have.
And
I received your message quickly.
Yes, exactly. Now, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I've been working on it. I've been acknowledging my problem and facing it. But those times when you would text me at like 8:30 at night, I swear to God, I swear on my head,
I believe you.
I would only get them the next morning. I would see them when I would open my phone, but I never received it the night before.
Okay, point taken.
Phone.
I mean, it happened to me a couple of times, so I get that. But in general, you're just a bad texter.
Yes, but I've gotten better.
Of course.
I've gotten better, and I'm actually pretty proud of myself. Because when I know that I'm not going to be able to text later, I text right away. I'll text it right away. And sometimes if I know I can text later, I'll text it later.
That's good.
I've been keeping myself accountable because I'm like, I have to get on my stuff.
Good. I've seen the progress, so
thank you.
It's great.
She's the one I need to impress the most. Her and my mom. They talk the most shit about my texting.
Because she never answered before. That was a problem. Like,
I know, I'm sorry. I said sorry many times, but
it's alright.
I'm really, really sorry from the bottom of my heart. And I'm working on it. And that's just, I care. I care.
I know you do.
I care. If I chose not to work on it, it would show that I did not care.
But you do care.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
Because I want to know when we work out in the morning.
Exactly. But also you too, huh? You text me at random times. Maybe you should let me know in advance. Like, after we're done our workout, you should be like, okay, Kim, so what time are we working out tomorrow?
I always do that.
We always do, but sometimes we forget.
And
then you text me.
At like 12.
Exactly. And whose problem was that? Yours. Exactly. But when I text you for the next day, it's earlier than that. It's like 2, 3 o'clock.
I know.
It's like 8, midnight. Sometimes I only get your message the next morning. And whose fault is that? Not mine, people. Not mine. And you're hearing it first. The very, very, very last goal on my list. And I have been working on it. So this is like, some of these goals are goals that I've been working on. But I would like to continue for next year. Is being more direct. So I've tried it a couple times already, and I'm very proud of myself. But I'm going to continue. Because the thing is, in our previous podcast, we talked about it very briefly. But sometimes I could be indirect about certain situations, about not being fully honest about how I feel, thinking that I'm going to hurt somebody else's feelings. And so, my goal for next year is to be direct with how I'm feeling. Not a hurtful way, of course not, because I'm not like that. But to be honest with myself in a truthful, honest, and... Do you like the anticipation here? So
intense.
And... Wait, you ruined the moment.
I'm so sorry. It was just too intense.
The anticipation was phenomenal. Phenomenal. I had myself
I felt wheezing. A little uncomfortable here. I was like,
really?
Holy shit, what did she gonna say?
Well, and being polite about it. That was the last list. The last
thing on the list.
Equation to my list.
Actually, that's a good one. I think I should be more direct as well.
Like, I feel like you are more direct than I am.
Well, I've worked on it, but like, I want to be able to say more no to things that I don't feel like. Exactly. Even if, like, you know, sometimes you're scared of like hurting the other person's feeling, or you're like, oh, like I'm gonna disappoint them. But at the end of the day, you're not disappointing them. Like, they don't care. No. You know, sometimes they obviously care, but like...
Yeah, but it's like, it depends the situation. Like, for me, it's really more so, like, for example, if I'm dining at somebody's house and they're like, you want this? And I'm like, I really don't like it. I'm not going to be like, yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah, but
I'm
that used
tell them,
to be something I would do.
Exactly. That's like, something I still do today.
Yeah?
Exactly. So that's why I want to work on it. Because, like, I'm so afraid of hurting somebody else's feelings.
That you make yourself uncomfortable.
Exactly. That, like, I'm not honest to myself. You know, like, what made me woke up is, like, one day somebody else had to speak for me. And, like, that to me was kind of like, wow, I couldn't even say it myself. So,
it's like a little red flag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why it's something I really want to work on, because it's just... At the end of the day, it's not really hurting somebody else's feelings. It depends on how you say it. Like, you're not going to be like, yeah, I don't like that because it's cow shit. Like, you're not going to say that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But I mean, you're just going to be like, sorry, personally, I really don't prefer that. Do you have anything else? Like, I really, really can't stand that. My body is just, it really can't take it. You know, like, you're just being honest with yourself without hurting the other person's feelings.
Exactly.
And that's my goal, is to be direct, but without being impolite as well. Yeah. That's the last thing. I never want to hurt anybody's feelings. So at least being direct with myself, but without hurting the other person's feelings is the biggest thing. Aw, thank you.
That's cute.
So I wish you luck.
I wish you luck. I wish you guys luck on whatever you want to achieve this year. This is your year. Just live it the best way you can. It's probably not going to be easy. COVID is still here. Your plans are canceled. You can't see anyone. But just take that time to work on yourself.
Take it day by day.
Day by day. Work on yourself, because after that, when you're going to come out of COVID and you're going to be able to see people, you're going to be blooming.
Yeah, and another thing is you're going to be so much more appreciative of the little things. Yeah. The little things.
I miss going to coffee shops and talking.
Yeah.
Like, I would have never, ever thought that I would miss going to coffee shop.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, those are the little things you need to acknowledge. And then when we'll be free to go and do whatever we want, just be grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, Happy New Year's, guys. New Year's. We wish you absolutely the best from our side, and stay safe. Take care. And another thing, it's just stay positive.
Stay safe, stay positive.
And you know what? Take this year as a learning lesson for yourself. Embrace anything you have going on in your life, and
manifest
and make the best of it.
That's the best
advice. Yeah, make a vision board with us. Yes, and share it. We want to know what your ideas are, what your goals. We're super curious to know what you guys are feeling and like how you guys are taking in these hard times, and we just want to know what your goals as well are. Let us know. We're super curious, and we mean that from the bottom of our hearts, seriously. Anywho, take care, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.